Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we plunge into the most fascinating ideas and distill them down for you. Today, we're challenging a really persistent idea that creativity is this elusive, mystical muse that only strikes a chosen few, usually at 3 a.m. with a bolt of lightning.
Right. We love that romantic image, don't we?
It's so deeply ingrained, this notion that you just wait for inspiration to descend rather than actively cultivating it.
Yeah, it often feels like a secret club, and, most of us feel like we're not on the guest list.
Exactly. But what if creativity is less about magic and more about, well, incredibly good habits?
Hmm.
We're diving into The Creative Habit by Twyla Tharp. She's a legendary choreographer. Her name is practically synonymous with discipline and groundbreaking work.
And this book, it isn't just something you read, it really feels like a unique guidebook. It's part memoir, part practical manual.
Unsurprisingly, part mirror, right? Reflecting your own creative processes back at you.
Totally. Tharp's core premise, and it's so refreshing, is that creativity isn't some magical, innate gift you either have or you don't. She argues it's a habit, something as concrete and, well, consistent as brushing your teeth. She frames it beautifully. Creativity is preparation meeting opportunity.
And that's our mission for this deep dive.
Yeah.
To give you a shortcut, sort of, to understanding Tharp's powerful framework for cultivating creativity.
Yeah.
We're going to navigate her insights, pull out the key messages, and share some practical observations that we found truly resonate.
Our goal here is really to help you unlock your own creative potential by showing you how discipline isn't a cage.
But maybe, just maybe, the ultimate pathway to freedom.
It really is a profound shift in perspective. Tharp emphasizes that routine isn't a constraint on creative expression. Not at all.
It's the launch pad.
Exactly. It's the launch pad. It's
Yeah.
a consistent groundwork that allows those moments of insight to actually take root and grow, rather than just, fleeting by.
So how do you even begin? Tharp confronts this head-on in her opening chapter, which she simply calls, I Walk into a White Room. I think we all recognize that feeling, right? Facing a blank canvas, a blank page, an empty stage. It can be incredibly humbling.
Yeah, even daunting. Tharp describes confronting that void of the dance studio, that empty white room, every single day. She's incredibly vulnerable about it.
What's fascinating here is how she strips away the mystique and kind of the fear of the blank slate.
Her core insight isn't some grand secret. It's almost deceptively simple.
What is it?
The only way to move forward is to simply show up and start, even if you feel completely unprepared.
Just start.
Just start. The act of beginning, however small, is what generates momentum.
And she gives really practical suggestions for this. Her default move in the studio is just a simple gesture or stretch.
Right.
The first mark on that blank canvas.
Right. And for a writer, she suggests it could be literally writing, I don't know what to write, until something else flows.
I know for me, the hardest part is just opening the document. This chapter taught me to reframe that emptiness, not as a punishment, but as pure possibility. And that the tiniest first step is enough, really.
Which then leads directly into how you make that first step repeatable. Which brings us to rituals of preparation.
Ah, the rituals,
Yeah.
chapter 2.
The core message here is that rituals aren't just quirky habits. They serve as crucial creative anchors. Tharp lives by this.
Her famous example, right? The 5:30 a.m. thing.
Waking up at 5:30 a.m. and hailing a cab to the gym. But the ritual isn't the workout itself.
It's the cab.
It's the cab ride. That's the trigger that signals the start of her creative day. It's fascinating.
It's all about designing a specific trigger. It could be a playlist, a certain location, even just a particular cup of tea.
Anything, really. The power comes from being consistent. These rituals remove the need for daily choice, making the act of starting almost automatic.
Like muscle memory for starting. Beethoven was famously meticulous about this, apparently counting exactly 60 coffee beans for his morning cup.
Wow. 60 exactly.
Makes you wonder, what seemingly small, repetitive act in your day could be a powerful trigger? For me, it's that specific morning coffee ritual. It's not just a drink.
It's their cue.
It's my brain's cue to shift into creative mode.
Yeah. So, okay. Once you've shown up, started, and established your rituals, the next logical step is to understand what makes your creative engine unique.
Ah, yes. Your creative DNA. Chapter 3.
This chapter's message is that understanding your unique creative patterns is absolutely essential for harnessing your abilities effectively.
She's not talking about literal DNA, of
Yeah.
course.
No, it's a metaphorical creative code, your unique creative fingerprints, basically, made up of your obsessions, your strengths, and importantly, even your blind spots.
And she offers a series of reflective questions, almost like a self-audit, to help you decode it. It's pretty involved.
It's a deep dive into self-inquiry, she asks. What's the first thing you notice in the world? Are you naturally drawn to color, movement, words, patterns?
Like for Tharp, she realized it was movement and structure. Makes sense for a choreographer.
Totally. And what are your recurring themes? What ideas or conflicts consistently appear in your past work? Tharp observed her own recurring theme was ritual and structure within chaos.
Interesting. She also prompts you on your preferred tools. Do you instinctively sketch, write, mind map? What feels natural?
And what's your dominant sensory memory? Do you remember life through soundtracks, images, smells? This reveals your sensory strengths.
But what's truly fascinating, and maybe a bit uncomfortable,
Uh-huh.
is when she asks about your repeated mistakes. She argues these persistent errors are just as revealing as your successes, often pointing to mental biases.
Ooh, yeah, that can sting a bit. Tharp admits she sometimes overcomplicates things.
Yeah, me too. And finally, she asks you to consider your work style alone or collaborative, and your creative lineage. Whose work do you admire and why?
Like Tharp citing Balanchine and Martha Graham as key influences, it helps you understand your roots.
Right, and the purpose of all this self-discovery isn't to put you in a box, she says.
No, it's to help you amplify your strengths, maybe counterbalance your weaknesses, and then create rituals that truly suit your unique DNA. Tailor-made.
I found going through this exercise profoundly clarifying.
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
I realized I'm a theme-driven creator. I need that philosophical question to orbit around,
Okay.
and my persistent mistake, definitely lingering too long in ideation without moving to execution. Just thinking, thinking, thinking.
So what do you do now?
Now, I actually set action deadlines immediately after brainstorming to force movement. It's been, well, transformative.
That makes sense.
And for you listening, Tharp suggests trying to complete this statement. Every time I create, I am trying to understand.
Ooh, that's a good one.
She argues that's your DNA speaking,
Yeah.
whatever fills that blank.
This self-awareness then connects beautifully to the next chapter, Harness Your Memory.
Chapter 4, Memory is a Tool.
Exactly. The message here is that your memories aren't just for nostalgia. They are a rich archive, a source of unique insight for your creative work.
Tharp breaks memory down into different types, right? There's muscle memory.
Sensory memory, virtual memory, like your stored ideas, and even ancient memory, your instincts.
And her practical suggestions are so insightful. She encourages specific memory exercises, like writing vividly about your earliest memory to reconnect with sensory details.
Or keeping memory notebooks or scrapbooks, just collecting sparks and observations, anything that catches your eye or ear.
It makes so much sense when she talks about Mikhail Prishnikov's muscle memory, how his body could remember complex movements even after years. Incredible.
Yeah.
I've genuinely started journaling not just for personal reflection, but specifically to collect these sparks for future work. It's become like my private creative treasure chest.
That's a great way to put it. Then comes chapter 5. Before you can think out of the box, you have to start with a box.
I love this title. And the concept.
What's fascinating here is the message that creativity paradoxically flourishes within structure. It needs boundaries sometimes.
And Tharp quite literally uses a physical cardboard box for each project. She collects everything related in there.
Notes, articles, visuals, anything that fuels that specific project. She calls it her creative ecosystem.
So the practical suggestion is to create your own project, box or folder, digital or physical. Gather all your influences and drafts in one dedicated place.
It becomes a boundary that paradoxically frees your mind because you know where everything is. It contains the chaos.
Right. For a dance project, her box might contain videos, poems, music snippets. For me, I now start every significant writing project with a dedicated digital folder. My box.
It makes it feel manageable.
Totally. It holds all the initial chaos.
Okay, chapter 6 is called Scratching.
Scratching, like an itch.
Kind of. Its message is that inspiration isn't passive, it's an active scavenger hunt. Scratching means deliberately and consistently seeking inspiration.
Like a dog at a door, she says. Constantly looking for new scents.
Exactly. You're encouraged to scratch daily, sketch, doodle, journal, even if it feels disconnected or you're not sure what you're looking for.
And to practice cross-pollination, learning from seemingly unrelated fields.
Yes. Tharp herself watched documentaries about Frank Gehry's architecture to inspire new dance movements. architecture informing dance.
Wow, this was a revelation for me. I now deliberately scratch by observing unrelated disciplines like how jazz musicians improvise to inform my writing rhythm.
That's a great example. It's about feeding your creative well even when you're not thirsty, basically.
Makes sense. Okay, chapter 7. Accidents will happen.
Mm-hmm. A big one. The powerful message here is that mistakes are not setbacks, but potential breakthroughs.
That's where newness hides, she says, in the unexpected.
Exactly. Tharp encourages welcoming these deviations, not fighting them.
It's so counterintuitive, isn't it? Our first instinct is usually to discard mistakes, hide them.
Right. But her practical suggestions are things like keeping an oops file for discarded ideas and revisiting them later. You never know.
Or actively shifting perspective. Instead of just tossing a bad idea, ask what it's trying to teach you.
Yeah. She recalls a dance move gone wrong that transformed into an iconic signature step because it just looked fresh and unexpected.
Wow. My take on this was incredibly liberating. I've learned to truly let my first drafts be messy, like really messy.
Let it be bad.
Yeah. Perfection is a second act, not the opening scene. And the mistakes in that first act often hold the seeds of something truly original.
That's a great insight. Chapter 8 emphasizes what Tharp calls the spine.
The spine, okay.
The message here is that every creative work needs an underlying core principle or central idea, a spine. Without it, the work can easily flail aimlessly.
So the practical advice is to define your spine, summarize your entire project in one concise sentence.
Right. Something like, this book explores the cost of memory, or whatever it is for your project.
And then use that single sentence as a compass. Check if each new addition, each idea, actually aligns with that core concept.
Exactly. In her Broadway show, Movin' Out, Billy Joel's music served as the immovable spine for all the choreography. Everything hung on that.
For me, this is a huge takeaway. I now literally write with a sticky note on my desk that asks, what is your spine here?
Does it work?
It genuinely keeps me from wandering aimlessly. It ensures everything I add serves the central purpose. Highly recommend.
Good tip. Okay, chapter 9 tackles skill.
Ah, skill. Can't forget that.
The message is crystal clear. Talent is nothing without skill. Creativity without skill is simply chaos.
She really emphasizes repeatedly that skills are honed through practice. They're not just innate.
No. She really pushes for skill drills, practicing fundamentals even when you're advanced, like musicians doing scales or writers doing word drills. The basics.
Of simply being a student again.
Yeah.
Taking workshops outside your comfort zone just to sharpen your tools.
Absolutely. Tharp herself trained relentlessly in classical ballet. That classical skill was the absolute foundation for her revolutionary modern dance innovation.
My personal learning here was to dedicate time not just to creating, but to deliberate practice. You need to master the rules to know how to break them effectively, right?
Couldn't agree more. Now, Ruts and Grooves, chapter 10, is a crucial one because it hits on something we all experience. Feeling stuck.
Oh yeah, the dreaded rut.
Tharp helps you understand the crucial difference between an empowering routine, a groove, and a stifling one, a rut.
How does she define them?
A rut, she says, is when your creative process is repetitive, deadened, joyless. You feel stuck, stale. A groove, however, is a rhythm, a momentum, a flow. Its repetition serving purpose, reliable yet fertile.
Like jazz musicians on a riff.
Exactly like that. And what's really striking is her finding that ruts aren't always obvious.
How so?
We often disguise them as discipline, but inside we feel bored, or maybe even secretly resentful.
The symptoms are feeling depleted versus energized or just phoning it in with familiar moves.
Yeah, and she identifies different types of ruts. Conceptual, same ideas over and over. Physical, same movements or spaces. Emotional, chasing the same feeling.
So how do you break out?
To break a rut, Tharp offers powerful, often counterintuitive tools. Change your medium if you write, paint if you paint, dance.
Shake things up completely.
Totally. Change your physical environment, work with a new collaborator, set absurd limitations like creating a dance using only hand gestures. Constraints breed invention.
Or simply do the exact opposite of your usual approach. If you plan meticulously, improvise. If you wing it, plan every detail.
My personal learning from this chapter truly hit home. I realized that sometimes what I called discipline was just me looping the same tired rituals, afraid to confront the blank space again.
Oof. Yeah.
If you feel dead inside your routine, that's a rut, not a groove. That really resonated.
And here's the deep cut for you, the listener. She admits ruts are inevitable. They are not dead ends.
What are they then?
Instead, they are a signal that your current methods have hit their limit. Time to evolve.
Wow. It's not a punishment.
It's an invitation to your next breakthrough. It's an interesting way to think about discomfort, isn't it? That stuck feeling means something needs to change.
Which then leads perfectly into an A in failure, chapter 11.
Getting an A in failure. I like the sound of that.
The message here is that failure is not defeat, but essential feedback. Absolutely essential.
Tharp recounts her famously failed Broadway show, The Catherine Wheel, with unflinching honesty, detailing the vital lessons she learned from it.
It's refreshing, isn't it, to hear someone at her level speak so candidly about a major public setback.
Absolutely. Her practical suggestions are to conduct a post-mortem analysis after a project, dissect what worked and didn't without ego, almost scientifically.
And to redefine your metrics. Measure growth and learning, not just conventional success. Did you learn something valuable?
It's very much in line with Silicon Valley's fail fast, fail forward philosophy.
Exactly.
For me, I realized I was far too precious with my early ideas. Now I try to let them fail faster, in private, to find the truly resilient ones.
That makes a lot of sense. Finally, chapter 12 is the long run.
Playing the long game.
This is where Tharp drives home the message that creativity is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires stamina, adaptability, and constant evolution.
It's about outlasting fads and sustaining creativity for decades, not just one-hit wonder.
Her advice for creative longevity: maintain lifelong curiosity, constantly learn unrelated things, keep feeding the well.
And, crucially, to pace yourself. Recognize when to sprint and when to walk. You can't go full speed all the time.
No way. Tharp herself choreographed well into her 60s and beyond, proving that creative longevity is absolutely real if you manage your energy and embrace evolution.
My personal takeaway from this was simple. I've stopped measuring my creative output in days or even weeks. Instead, I'm genuinely trying to play the long game.
How so?
Prioritizing consistency over intensity. Showing up regularly, even if it's small, rather than burning out in big bursts.
That seems key. So if we bring it all back to Twyla Tharp's overarching truth, the creative habit is a field guide, right? Not a magic wand.
Definitely not a magic wand. She doesn't offer quick secrets or mystical shortcuts. Only the honest truth. That discipline is the absolute bedrock of creative freedom.
That's right. Creativity, according to Tharp, is a muscle, and this book teaches you how to train it.
With discipline, curiosity, and relentless self-inquiry. For me personally, this deep dive really helps solidify building my own project box for writing. Diligently logging those memory flashes when they strike. And yes, having a newfound, almost sacred respect for my own quirky rituals.
It's about creating the conditions for creativity to thrive, isn't it? Rather than just waiting for it to randomly appear.
Exactly. It's all about intentionality.
So the next time you feel stuck, what if that feeling isn't a dead end, but an invitation to your next breakthrough? What if it's your creative system telling you it's time to evolve, time for a change?
Or consider this. If creativity is a muscle, what kind of workout are you giving yours? And what could you do today, maybe just one small thing, to make it just a little bit stronger?
Food for thought.